Right now is a really interesting time in architecture, not just in the United States, but globally. The world is undergoing the largest wave of urban growth in history, and for the first time ever, more than half of the world's population is now living in towns or cities. This urban growth can be accounted for largely in part because of overall population increases, but what's really fascinating about this rapid urbanization is the wide variation in pace in different regions. Poorer regions are growing substantially faster than their wealthier counterparts, and as a result, poverty is now growing faster in urban areas than rural areas. Right now, over 1 billion people, that's 15% of the world's population, they live in urban slums, which are overcrowded, polluted, and dangerous. The structures people call home in these areas are made without any construction knowledge and are extremely dangerous. The urban slums, they're treacherous to navigate, they have no order to them, and they just expand onto any usable land as people are pushed further and further out from the city center. Now, this is a really terrible situation, and I'm sure everybody would love to help if they could, but realistically, architects and designers that live and work in the first world can't all just pack up and go save the world from poverty-stricken urbanization. Now, what they can do, though, is change how they practice. What I mean by that is architecture as a business now only designs 2% of the world's structures. So what I mean by that is 98% of building globally has nothing to do with architects. It's an incredibly small market that architects practice in. They use a business model called top-down, where one firm with the principal at the top and all of the designers down the ladder, they work for one client, usually a wealthier individual or corporation, to design a project that benefits that client and possibly the public as a secondary means, but primarily it is benefiting just the client. Now, architects who are really exclusive, who we work for, because it takes a lot of work to produce a building, and you're really liable for the documents you produce and all the elements of construction. But because architecture is so excluded, it has one of the highest unemployment rates across the world. Now, there's another form of design. It's called bottom-up. So there's top-down, which is the traditional business practice in first world countries like the US, and then bottom-up is a community-based design collaborative where you take the input of the community, they come together and they design their own community based on their input. So top-down, you have the expertise and knowledge of an architect. You have to go to school for a period of time to get your degree. Bottom-up is just the environment in which the people live and their collaborative knowledge coming together. Open source architecture can function in this niche by blending these business models and taking advantage of new technologies. It's a collaborative design where anybody can contribute and anybody can access the files that have the design. With the expansion of the internet to the furthest reaches of the world, and most certainly cities like these, people can now connect and communicate about design from anywhere. The internet provides the connection from designers to clients, but technologies like laser cutters can help to make this building feasible for people without construction skills. Because of the lack of office overhead and traditional construction knowledge needed, costs go down dramatically for projects. Not only are architectural fees reduced, but construction costs are almost completely eliminated, and labor costs are no longer in the equation, and it's just material prices. For example, this project is laser-cut plywood that requires no additional tools or construction knowledge to produce. Anybody can assemble it. Open source architecture, it takes an architect and gives them access to a lot of small projects that they are working on with anybody else who wants to contribute from anywhere in the world. A client, let's say a family in the slums of Mumbai, can request a design for their new home, and then the designers get to work. They can talk with each other and the family and design a site-specific project that fills this family's needs at a low cost. The clients can then take the files produced by this team of architects and go get their house laser cut. Then they take the pieces and they assemble it. Open source architecture is a really powerful tool for architects because it can make meaningful change and help solve several real-world, real-time issues. Architects get access to massive new resource of clients, and people in these rapidly expanding urban areas get site-specific, low-cost design that gives them a safe shelter that's functional and formally logical. Thank you.